Welcome to another interview. This week we have got Jean-Francois Major,
That's
or
right.
or better off known as JF, and we've got my co-host Carrington as well.
Hey, hey,
Um,
hey.
you may know JF from Tribute Games, which they have recently released an incredible title, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge, a game that really hits the nostalgia right to the core of your soul. It really grasps a hold of you and doesn't let go. I can highly recommend. This is one of the funnest games that I've played this year. But JF, thank you so much for joining us today. And maybe we can just get right into the interview. I will say before we get into all of the gaming uh, discussion, I noticed on your Twitter that it said that you were a home brewer.
Yeah. I keep myself busy.
Yeah.
I love surfing, and I brew my own beer from time to time.
Hmm.
And yeah, those are like two of my passions. So when I'm
Very
not working, I'm keeping myself busy.
okay. Very. So what is your specialty brew? Like what do you like? Are you the IPA kind of guy? You like stouts, reds?
I have like a soft spot for American wild ales,
Hmm.
but yeah, obviously I can't lie. IPAs and
Okay.
double IPAs have been my go-to the past few years.
Very cool. Yeah, that's super cool. Definitely a niche to get into. But yeah, so you are with Tribute Games now, and you are the technical director with Tribute Games. So what is your day-to-day role with the company?
Yeah, well, actually, I'm also the co-founder, so
Oh,
I
yes, I
wear
apologize.
many yeah, I wear many hats. Like we're a small indie studio.
Hmm.
Right now, I think we're 14 at the studio,
Hmm.
and as you're probably aware, like most indie studios, we need to tackle a lot of tasks on a daily basis, and yeah, being one of the owners of the studio, yeah, that comes with many different things. Like so, yeah, I'm a programmer by
Hmm.
trade, but I also wing it as a business owner and handle the day to day of Trivia Games and managing the team and whatnot. So yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a lot of weight on your shoulders spread between you and the other individuals on the team. Obviously being a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game itself, that's such a great title. What was it like to get the chance to work on Shredder's Revenge? And was there really any pressure going into the project for you and your team?
Yeah, I think. Well, I think the pressure really sunk in when we first announced the game. Because like when we went into the project, like this was always kind of like a dream project of
Mhm.
ours. Um, and you never know like what the reception will be when you put your project out there and for everyone to see. And when we saw like the reaction, it was like overwhelming. Like everyone was really into it. I think people couldn't believe their eyes that we were going back to like the original design of the turtles and with an aesthetic that um, kind of yeah goes back to the how do I say this, like the peak in my opinion
Mhm.
of the TMNT games.
Mhm.
So with a pixel art aesthetic, that's really what we do best. So yeah, when we saw like the reception of it, then we felt like okay, we have this spotlight on us. We really can't screw this up because like if
Mhm.
if we screw it up, um, I told my staff like if we screw it up, I think we're just shutting down the studio and I'm deleting my Twitter account and never
Just
setting foot.
disappearing off the earth.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of care that needs to go into playing with nostalgia, and especially with a license as big as TMNT, you need to go at it with a lot of care. So it was very stressful, but also I might add that like part of the studio, we kind of have a history with the turtles. So we used to work. A couple of us worked on Game Boy Advance at Ubisoft, and we actually did a TMNT game based on the 3D movie, which was pretty well received. But unfortunately, Game Boy Advance it had very limited multiplayer play, so you needed like some link cables and whatnot. So we never managed to do our like full vision of like what our ideal TMNT game would be. So we also did Scott Pilgrim, which was a bit closer to what we were hoping to do with the TMNT license. And we got a second go at a TMNT game at Tribute. So that was like our time to shine, and we really went for it
and executed it.
Thanks.
Well,
yeah. For me personally, like I just recently started getting into TMNT because growing up, I did watch the cartoons, but got to a point where my parents were like, "Okay, that's enough," because you're starting to like jump off of couches and stuff.
It's not a bad thing.
So recently, I started like getting into like the cartoons again and the movies and stuff. So I do remember playing the game as a kid. So what was it like trying to balance, like, because there are so many references to like past games and stuff. So what was it like trying to balance that, trying to bring in newer fans or even a new generation of fans, even while still trying to balance like older fans that have been playing this and know TMNT through and through, inside and out.
Right. Honestly, I don't think. How do I say this? Like, we really wanted younger fans to get into it and have some fun, and I think we really nailed it with like the level of difficulty. Like, it's really easy to pick up and play. It's easy to drop in, drop out at any point. Where I was kind of afraid is like our younger kids that didn't grow up with the 87 design. Like, is it gonna like gel with them? Are they gonna be into it? Because like TMNT Rise is totally a different setting for the Turtles. But I'm actually quite surprised to notice that younger kids actually have fun with the game. They're intrigued by the history of the Turtles, and I also saw a lot of older gamers, like in their 30s, like late 30s, or to like their 50s, playing with their kids, and they're having like a blast where like they can totally share that moment with them. So yeah, I think we like tried to like stay true to more like the older fans, but with the hopes that they would be curious, and I think it worked out.
Absolutely. I can't stress enough like how fun it is, just not just like even if you like have never played or even like know about TMNT at all, like how easy it's just to pick it up and play and just be engrossed in it and just even get you interested in it. You guys did a fantastic job with that. So hats off to you and the team for that, hands down.
Yeah, I was gonna just kind of back that up. So my daughter, she's 5, and she has sat down with me, and we've put at least an hour or 2 into the game together, and she loves it. And it's easy enough for her to be able to comprehend, like, okay, I need to hit this button to jump, this button to fight, and then and res me whenever I get taken out by the Foot Clan. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that you've definitely hit that crowd and given me an opportunity to play games with my daughter, which has been nice too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
One question that I have to ask, because I feel like it's on everyone's mind whenever you bring up TMNT, and then this is probably one of the most important questions of the day. Who's the best turtle?
Turtle or hero?
Who's the best turtle? Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have a soft spot for Raphael. Like Not sure if he's like the strongest in the game, but like I don't really care for stats and whatnot. Like he just
Mhm.
rocks, and yeah, I really love his moveset.
Same. Raphael, dude is a monster, and I love him. He may not be, like you said, the best stats, but he's definitely a lot of fun to play with, and I think he's one of the greatest characters in that universe. Also, that's
Yeah,
just my
for sure.
opinion, though.
I share that opinion.
Thank you.
Whatever. Michelangelo all the way, guys. You both are wrong.
I mean,
You both are wrong.
honestly, I love what our animator did with Michelangelo. He has such personality, and Shredder's Revenge. He's so unique, and he really stands out more than the rest of the cast. His run cycle is just, when I first saw it, I don't know, in tears. It was so funny.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. He's always been my favorite, and I think he's got that kind of dude bro vibe to him a little bit. So
Yeah,
it's always stuck out to me. And it's obvious, for the fans that we love this game. We love it. But for you, that has worked on the game itself, what's it feel like to get, that universal praise from not only fans, but from critics as well?
well, as I kind of said, it's really a relief. I think every game that we tackle, we try to do like our very best, and when you're playing with or working like on a license or someone else's um, property, in a sense, like that level of care needs to be doubled. And as I mentioned, like it was so stressful on release day. I was so nervous because like we basically how do I say that, like hit more of like a mass market crowd with this game. And I don't think beat 'em ups are necessarily like a mass market genre. So I was really scared to see like what people like how people would react to that game. I know a lot of people probably bought the game out of peer pressure, and that's those are the people that I was really scared of. Like, how are they gonna react? Like, if they went from maybe a AAA like God of War or Last of Us, and then they switched to TMNT, how are they gonna react to a more retro pixel art game? And surprisingly, I think like 99% of the comments that I see, they're super positive. Everyone's just telling us like, start working on the next IP. You guys just nailed it. So that to me is, I know I can sleep at night now.
So speaking of working on different IPs, because you said you worked at Ubisoft and worked on a couple IPs like TMNT before, as well as Scott Pilgrim. So what's the biggest difference working for Ubisoft, working on an unknown established IP, as opposed to as an indie studio working with an established IP?
That's a good question. Honestly, I don't see that there's that much difference because, as I mentioned, initially we were working on the Game Boy Advance titles, and that was a fairly small team. We were, I think, like 15 to 20 tops working on a game. And so it kind of feels like just our studio right now. We always kind of had that direct access to the IP owners, just to have a discussion on like where they wanted the project to go and whatnot. So yeah, I'm not sure if we really had a much different experience. Yeah, I think we probably, since it's really our baby, or like Tribute is our company, like we obviously are more stressed out at like how good the game will do, because yeah, it's much more personal in that sense. But I don't think it's been harder to work on someone else's IP now than when we were at Ubisoft.
Sure. I was just curious if I don't know if but it sounds like you still had a small team working on those games as well. So, I was just
Mhm.
curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess one of the things that we've been seeing in recent gaming, especially this generation, is the ability to do crossplay and to
Yeah.
be able to play with our friends that are either, you know, uh, pro Xbox, pro PS, or that part of the PC master race that I keep hearing about. I don't know much about these people, but I hear a lot about them. So was it hard to implement that system into your
Yeah.
guys' baby?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think we really nailed the crossplay aspect of it just yet.
Hmm.
Right now, it's limited to Xbox and PC. So
Hmm.
if you bought it on Windows Store or Steam,
Hmm.
it works with Xbox. I think there's still room for improvement. But yeah, it's really a challenge for us. And like one thing that people don't like necessarily understand is like if you open up crossplay, that makes it really hard to like update your game
Mhm.
because you need to make sure that all the patches line up and everything is on par.
Yeah.
And so like for example, normally on a Steam game, you could hot patch like your game in a matter of like minutes or like hours or hotfix. And now since it's crossplay, we need to really think carefully. Like, is this going to break the whole multiplayer experience? So that's part of why like the crossplay experience is not wholly open. I would say we're looking to like improve it. There's also been some like minor issues, or well, probably not minor, but there's been some issues with how the system works. I think because we're using Epic Online Services in the background, and I think we're uh, it's still kind of like at its how do I say this in the development phase.
Mhm.
Hasn't really been through some pretty big productions. So I think there's some stuff that needs to be ironed out there as well. So um, it's really tough doing online play to begin
Mhm.
with, and doing crossplay is another layer of complexity that uh, we need to take into account.
Yeah.
Sure. This is your guys' first online multiplayer game, isn't it? If I remember right from Tribute.
No, we actually did Mercenary Kings
I
and
forgot about Mercenary Kings.
yeah, and Curses and Chaos is also online. But those experiences and like Mercenary Kings, I think worked fairly well. But with TMNT, I like I worked on the system, so I'm happy you guys asked, and I'm sorry if I go too much into detail, but
Go right ahead.
I feel like we put a lot, like way probably too many hours to try to like get this just right.
Mhm.
Because we really feel like the game needed to have this seamless co-op experience where you can drop in, drop out, and you can also combine offline and online co-op. So you can have like two people um, in one house on one console play with other people online. So those are like all things that they seem like so simple, but there was a lot of work that went into them. And yeah, I'm really happy that people are noticing the effort behind it.
Oh, absolutely. Because I feel like that's a rare thing nowadays to have not just. I mean, online co-op is the norm nowadays, but to have couch
Mhm.
co-ops where I could have a friend over. Like my dad just had a bunch of people over the other day, and we just had like a video game thing with a bunch of people. TMNT came in clutch because it's one of those games we could still play on the same screen and everything, which cannot thank you enough for that. That is, it goes a long way to have something like that still to this day.
Yeah, I was kind of going back to thinking the actual length of the game itself, I think it took Carrington and I just for one playthrough. Maybe
2 hours, 3 hours.
it's about 3 hours just to play through all the levels and
Mhm.
fight all the bosses. But you guys executed the replayability in the game because going back to the collectibles and then alternate endings for each character. Was that something difficult for the team to do to have a game that is per se short in length, um, or for the playthrough time to be short? Was it difficult for you guys to give a replayability aspect for people to continue consuming the game itself and continue to going back and playing it again and again?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was finding the sweet spot was really hard. And initially, I think the game dragged on a little bit more, and we decided to like shorten some of the levels just to make it a bit more action packed and didn't feel like a chore at the end of the day. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying about beat 'em ups and them not being necessarily like a more mass market friendly type of game. People normally kind of evaluate the level of quality of your game based on the amount of hours that you can spend in the game, or actually like how long the story mode takes. And I feel like beat 'em ups, it doesn't really work out that way. If a beat 'em up is like longer than, let's say, 3 hours, it'll start to feel like a drag. But you also don't want it to be too short, because people will complain. So striking that like right balance is an art, and like even now, like we get some comments where people say the game is too long, and we also get some comments where it's too short. So it's I think we found the right middle ground, but it's hard to make it feel like you got your money's worth. For beat 'em ups, I guess.
I was gonna say, I for me personally, I think Carrington, you and I both started maybe like 11 o'clock at night playing it. I thought we'd probably get through a few levels, but we just kept playing and kept playing and kept playing. And then once we found out there's only 16 levels in the game, I believe. And we were at level 8 or no.
Yeah, we were
further. We were further on.
We were more than halfway point.
Let's finish this, and we stayed up to about 2. And we played one sitting. We sat down, and just played through the whole game, and it was a it was right there. I think you hit that sweet spot with it for me personally. Yeah.
So I feel like the game itself definitely obviously pays so many homages to the past arcade cabinet games. Is it possible we could see an arcade cabinet of Shredder's Revenge? Maybe?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
I'd love to see one. I think it would like complete the whole package.
Sure.
I'm not sure if it's a good coin spender type of game. But yeah, we actually had like quite a few people during production like ask us like, hey, can we make an arcade cabinet? And we even had someone like show us kind of like a sample of an arcade cabinet. And they really went all in with, like, they already had all the artwork and all that stuff. They ripped it off, I don't know where. And it really pained me because like we announced at the end of the project that just before release that the game was going to be 6 players, and that was like a design decision that we had from the start, that the game was always going to be 6 players. And I really how do I say this, like it pained me to know that the guy needed to like scrap his arcade cabinet and add 2 more players. I never wanted to tell him like, well, you'll have to go back to the drawing board and make it like a X-Men arcade size cabinet. But yeah, it would be really cool, but I think it would be more of like not a mass arcade distribution, but more
Yeah.
of like a cool have one in your office type of cabinet, I guess.
Let's just say, give it to the end of the year. I'm sure we'll see someone has made it somewhere.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It's really surprising what people like have come up with already. There's a lot of people that just retrofitted their arcades with a PC and put TMNT in there on
Mhm.
like CRT TVs and
Wow.
stuff like that. So yeah, I'm convinced someone will do a 6-player cabinet soon.
As we were playing it, because we played on stream TMNT together, and the more I played, I'm like, I will pay money right now, even though I've already paid for it. I will pay money right now to play this in an arcade. Like, it was just it was perfect. You guys nailed down that feel, and I was like, I need to play this in an arcade. So if it happens, just know we are ready to spend some money in an arcade cabinet.
But you have to like die quite often for us to make up for it. So
Oh, fair enough.
we'll have to tune up the difficulty or something.
Fair enough.
Do you guys have any future plans for DLC, or is this kind of a
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
magic question.
yeah, or is this kind of a one and done thing?
Yeah, well, we always said that if the game's a success, we'd consider DLC. Like our main focus was really shipping the game. We always kind of like dabbled with ideas, but like we never held back. So like the game that we ship is really the full extent of our vision or our ambitions. Right now we're like focusing on bug fixing, because when you have 500,000 people playing your game, there's going to be some bugs that our 10 QA testers haven't found. So yeah, we're focusing on that, and then we'll definitely evaluate like DLC shortly.
Okay. We'll be sitting here twiddling our thumbs, waiting. JF, we want to thank you so much for coming on today. Really, really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule
It's
to
my
chat
pleasure.
with us. Yeah, man. Is there anywhere that people can find you on the interwebs? Anywhere that you'd like to direct them towards the game, towards your personal work, towards tribute, anything? It's time for you to give any shout outs.
Sure. I'm not very good with social media, but you guys can follow me on Twitter at JF Major. The O is a 0 because someone stole that name before I did. And then follow Tribute Games. We have a Tribute Games Discord, which I think it's just discord.gg/Tribute Games.
Okay.
And we're reading all the comments. I try to read all of Twitter, which has been really hard. It's really hard to follow, but I try to interact with everyone, and I make it a mission to just be part of the conversation and let people know that we're here to listen.
I can say that you reply very quickly, and that is very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. So yeah, like I said, it's been a pleasure having you on to chat with us, and we are excited to continue playing your game and future games that you guys release with Tribute Games. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And with that, I'm going to steal Karrington's phrase here. Have a rad day.